Welcome to the episode. We are on episode 30 of the podcast. Perfect. And we are live streaming to YouTube today. So I want to talk to you today about radical honesty. And we're going to do a quick episode because I am about to head out the door. I've got a networking event tomorrow in Raleigh, and then I'm also heading up to DC for like an entire 10 days for my husband's retirement. But I said, oh my gosh, I didn't record a podcast yet today. And let me just tell you why. Like normally I record my podcast between Monday and Wednesday. And because things were crazy and I'm getting ready to leave, you know how that just is on your mind. But the reason I wanted to pop on here is because I just got off a call with my new coach. My new coach is actually one of my clients. And it's very interesting, like extremely interesting. And I thought about hiring her for quite a while. We've been working together for a few months. She has hired me on as her coach to help her sell more in her business. And in the future, we will be collaborating and talking together. And I will definitely have her on because she's like tripled her revenue. She went from like $300 a month to $1,800 a month. Like it's fantastic. And she is a money coach. So I wanted to talk to you about radical honesty as it comes to money, as it comes to emotions, as it comes to life. Because if we don't have awareness on our patterns, our habits, our behaviors, on how we're acting, on the way we're spending our money, on the way we're responding to life, if we don't have that awareness, we won't be able to move or change or grow. And the reason I wanted to come on here and talk about radical honesty is because radically honestly, I have been feeling like trash this week. Radically honestly, I have been feeling like trash for the past 3 years. I have been openly sharing that I'm going through health challenges and my body doesn't feel the same. It doesn't look the same. My energy isn't the same. And I've been taking actions and working with different coaches and working with different supplements and going to different practitioners, getting tests done. And in some of this, I've realized I just have to accept that this is where I am right now. There was really a big part of me that wanted to feel excited and exuberant and like have that energy, like that passion that I had 10 years ago when I first started my business, when I was just like dreaming the dream. And, shit has happened, right? Like shit has happened. I got married in 2020. I started my business in 2020. I reached 6 figures in 2023. Then I had a lot of money mistakes, that I had a lot of learnings in my business. And I've been through a lot in the past 3 to 5 years. The reason I wanted to come on here and say this is because it can be so easy, especially as a perfectionist, high achiever, to just keep going, to just keep smiling, to just keep pushing through, especially if you have created a brand that you need to live up to. Like if you created a standard for yourself, which is what I did. Like I created this brand standard and it has felt impossible for me to show up as that brand standard. Like, yay, I'm happy, I'm energetic, I'm fun, I'm playful. I feel great. Like, no, I don't. I do not feel great. And so I'm going through a season. I went through this during the summer. I was calling it feral summer, where I was just like, whatever. Like, I'm not going to stay focused on my branding. I'm not going to make myself show up in a certain way. And I'm just going to be honest. And I started doing this actually back in 2023. I said, hey, I had a panic attack this year, like first one I've ever had. Here's what was going on. Here's what it looks like. And like, I'm not going to pretend to be happy. Like, I don't need to pretend. The reason I bring this up is because what was coming up for me, especially with my business, is there were things I did not want to look at. There were things that felt like too big of a mistake, too big of a failure. It felt like too much for me to handle. And so for about 6 months, I just ignored it. I just ignored it. I didn't want to look at it. I didn't want to acknowledge it. I didn't want to feel the feelings associated with it. And I definitely didn't want anybody else to see it. And I think this can be especially true when it comes to money and business. And I want to say, I just got off the first call with my coach, who's also my client. We coach each other. And we looked at a lot of my money stuff. And I told her, I was literally laying in bed for these past 3 days. When that time of the month comes, your brain gets really dramatic. And my brain was just like, again, like it really loves to offer these thoughts like nothing matters, nothing excites me anymore, who cares, doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. Look at all the things I don't have. Like it was really just getting down. And I spent about 2 days crying, just like walking, crying, laying on the couch crying, feeling really, really sorry for myself. And when we're in that place, we feel hopeless. We feel powerless. We feel like, what is the actual point? The reason I wanted to bring radical honesty to you today is because I feel like that too. Most of the time, we're hiding from our coaches and our therapists because we don't want them to judge us. We don't want to feel the shame associated with looking at what we've created. And the thought that I had, and I want to get curious on how this could be true, but I want to bring it here. The thought that I had this week was, I have not created a life that I love. Like I always dreamed of creating this vision and this life that I loved, and I didn't create it. I didn't create it. Now, that's not actually true, right? Like I built a 6-figure business. I got married. My husband is amazing. We have a house together. We have 2 dogs. Like I have a new car. Like I have a great office. I have a great community. So like factually, that's not true, but also functionally, it may be true. The reason I bring this up is because the foundation of everything I've ever taught in coaching, and if I teach retreats or workshops, the foundation is a foundation of having a clear vision. What is it that you want to create? And then secondarily, having clear values. What are the values? How are you making your decisions? Are you living in your values? Are you in alignment with them? And so as I turned 40 this year, and as I'm preparing my second book to put that book proposal out into the world, it really is an opportunity to have a reflection to say, hold on, what are my values? Let me reassess. Let me slow down. Let me pause. Let me see where part of my higher self or spirit is actually saying, yeah, there's some areas that you're not in alignment. Let me pause long enough to ask, how do I want to live my life? And the reason that really, really hit me was since I was 3 years old, I wanted to be working with animals. And a lot of the pain that I feel now is I want more animals. I want to be able to help more animals. I want to be able to foster a bunch of dogs and a bunch of cats. I want to save their lives. And it pains me. Like I had to block and hide like a bunch of this animal content this week because I was just crying about it. And remember that everybody else has like a different pain point because everybody has a different mission on this planet, right? Yours might be human rights, right? Justice. It might be political. It might be humanitarian. It might be building community. It might be helping the recovery community, right? But you know that thing that pulls at your heartstrings. And what I was thinking of, like in the past decade of my life, the intentions that I set, the goals that I set out, I've achieved a lot of them, right? And among them was like become a published author, become a paid speaker, build a 6-figure business, build a coaching certification. I've done all of that. And also it's time for me to reassess and decide what my next decade is going to look like. And so the pain that I'm feeling now was like, I really want to be doing more with animals. Why am I not? And then it's time for me to start thinking about what does that look like? How can I volunteer? How can I give more? What can I do right now? And then some other things, like I used to have a beautiful yoga practice. And I just got off the call with my coach and we were talking about like, oh, I'm a little bit mad that I have to drive so far for my yoga practice. But the alternative is I stay up too late. I sleep in, I don't do yoga, then I don't get to access that beautiful feeling meditative state of transcending consciousness and connecting with God and feeling love deep in my heart. That's the cost because I have to drive a little farther. So the reason I bring this up is because I just did something really hard. I want to celebrate myself. Having that first call with your coach where you're like, all right, let's rip the Band-Aid off. Let's look at it all. Now, the first call is usually a consult call, and I already had done a consultation call with this coach. And then the first real call is like, let's get to work. Let's make a plan. And also, we've got to look at where we are. And so I'm using this as a celebration for what I've achieved, which is like, I feel empowered now because I have a plan. I'm looking at the things. I'm no longer hiding from the things. I have awareness on why I'm doing what I'm doing. I have awareness of where the money's going. I have a plan of where I want it to go. And then we take baby steps from there. But nothing will change unless you're willing to be radically honest. And Tony Robbins always says, don't make it worse than it is. Don't be dramatic, make it worse than it is. Sometimes part of the awareness is realizing, like, oh, I can handle this. Like, it's not as bad as I was making it out to be. And then some of the awareness is like, let me actually look at it. Let me look at the numbers. Let me see where we're at. And let me feel the pain of where I'm at. Because secondarily, we got to be radically honest, step one. But secondarily, step two is the pain of staying the same needs to outweigh the pain of change. Change is going to be a challenge in your brain because the brain just wants to stay the same. It's been doing the same thing. It's been being lazy. Like, brains are lazy. You're not lazy, but brains are lazy. And so in order to do the work to change, it will take you coming up against your neural conditioning, your patterns, your emotional conditioning. But when you look at where you are and say, eek, this is not where I want to be. Eek, eek, ooh, this is not where I want to be. How did I get here? And then you actually say, oh, this is how I got here. And you have a coach walk you through it. It feels empowering. And quite honestly, it feels a little bit silly that you waited so long. Like, that's what I'm laughing at myself about, is like, I could have done this in February. I remember having a conversation about this in February, like this specific thing. But I was just like, no, I can't. No, I can't. But the reason why was because I was feeling so much shame about it still. I was like, no, I can't look at it. And I really thought about this. It was so interesting that I thought about hiring my client because she's great. I was like, I know her. I was like, could be such an easy fit. I knew she could help me with this, specifically what I was looking for. And then I thought about, oh, but what if she judges me, right? If she sees me differently? And I said, oh, this is the exact reason I need to hire my client. Because what I talked about in the beginning of this was like, I had built this brand and this standard and this facade. We all do this in our business. We dress up in our fancy clothes and we go out there and we're like, this is who I am. But truly, there are parts of us that are bitchy, that are overspenders, that are gossipy, that are not nice. And the truth is, when you can be with all parts of you, that is the purpose of life. When you can say, yep, I see that part of me and I can love her anyway. I see that scared version of me. I see that angry version of me. I see that version of me that just wants love and connection. I can see the patterns and habits that she's created. And I can also love her and say, and like, I love you. And also, if we keep doing these same things, we're going to keep getting the same result. And we're going to keep feeling this way. We're going to keep having this life that we have. So I want you to feel this with so much love that wherever you are right now, it's safe to look. And if you feel like you can't look for yourself, this is the purpose of a coaching consult call. It's to just come to the call with radical honesty, say, this is where I'm at. This is where I want to be. This is how it feels. And I tell you, it can feel, like it feels like, sometimes it feels like throwing up. Like, I don't want to look at this, right? I feel ashamed. I don't want to be here. But what's worse? Living a life that you don't want to be living, not in alignment with your vision and values, feeling like life is happening to you and you're not the one creating life, or ripping off the Band-Aid, being really honest, looking at where you are, seeing exactly how you got there, and then creating a plan so that you can have everything that you want. And I tell you, one of my roles in this life is to show up vulnerably in front of you. And I do this even deeper with my one-on-one clients. I tell them, I'm like, hey, this is what's going on in my money situation right now. And I do them to help them see that they're okay. The weight that you carry on your body, the money that you don't have in your bank account, the debt that you might have, your relationship status, none of that actually defines you. And I'm telling you, it was hard for me. Like, I knew this at a soul level. I've been teaching self-love since 2017. Like I thought I knew this, and then some things happened and it wrecked me. It got me very off track with my self love. I thought, you know what? You made mistakes. You made too many mistakes. That's it. And so this has deepened me into my practice of self love. I want to remind you that that is the foundation of everything. Whether you're building a business, building a relationship, building your vision, at the foundation, it's got to be self love and self trust, having your own back, being able to figure it out, being able to ask for help and support when you're like, I don't have this skill set. I need somebody else who has this skill set to help me with this. So today I humbled myself. I had a coaching call with my client. I actually did some hard things and I ended up feeling proud. I ended up feeling like I made progress. I ended up feeling like I have a plan. I know what I'm doing for the next 2 weeks. So I want you right now, just place a hand on your heart and just repeat after me. This is so, so hard. And I'm so, so courageous. This is so, so hard. And I'm so, so courageous. And just let yourself feel that. The courage to keep showing up, to solving problems, to asking for support, to being honest with yourself. That's going to get you everywhere. The persistence, the resilience, the grit. Life isn't always easy. And it just so happens my life hasn't been easy the past 3 years. Maybe you can relate. So because I'm doing this podcast for you, you might see my brand thinking I'm looking amazing because I'm good at looking amazing on camera, on video, and photo shoots. I've trained to look that way. But you don't get to see what's behind the scenes. You don't get to be inside my brain and hear what my brain tells me. And it feels very true. It feels very real. My brain for the past 3 days would just not quit. Telling me all the negative thoughts. Doesn't matter. It's not worth it. Doesn't matter. Who cares? And it happens for me once a month. Sometimes it's more dramatic than others. For some of you, it might have been happening for a while. It happened for me all of 2024. And I've been coming out of it this year. I definitely think it's hormonally related, right? To where it just feels very true, very real. But I want you to know, whatever you're going through, you have support, you have help. It's right here in front of you. You can reach out to me. You can book a free consultation, or you can just send me a message. I have a network of thousands of coaches that I work with that are in my network that I can refer you to. But it really, truly feels better when you take a step and you take an action towards getting the support, being held, being seen, just holding your space for your emotions. And then you take the next step and the next step and the next step and the next step. And that is how you build momentum. That's how you get your energy back. That's how you get clear. That's how you get focused. And if you're watching this now and you are anywhere in driving or flying distance, I want to invite you to come to my next retreat. It's in person in Fayetteville, North Carolina. It is on November 9th, which is a Sunday, from 11 to 5 p.m. This is a breathwork and vision board retreat. It is designed for women to slow down, to really reassess, where do I want to be, to let go of any past trauma, anything that has sucked for you in the past 5 years. We do a breathwork session, followed by journaling, followed by vision boarding. That's going to allow you to let go of anything emotionally that you've been holding on to, any of the stories, any of the sadness, any of the despair, the hopelessness, the helplessness. And it's going to allow you to reconnect with that higher self version of you, with God, with Holy Spirit, with your angels, with your ancestors. Remembering that you're not alone and you are equipped. If you are here in this life, on this planet, at this time, it means you are uniquely equipped for whatever you are going through. It also means you have spiritual support. It also means you have a soul squad, a spirit squad, a pack of humans that you may not even know yet that is here to do life with you. So I invite you to come to this retreat. I tell you that you will walk out transformed, even though it's just one day. We go deep. We get raw. We get real. We get honest. And then we tap into creation. What do you want to create? Who do you want to be? What do you want to have in the next 10 years? Let's get inspired. Let's get re-engaged and let's go let go of any of the trauma, the self-doubt, the stories, anything that's holding you back, the fear, the imposter syndrome. Let's do it. Let's run face first into the emotions through breath work and realize that emotions will never take you out. When you learn how to process them, feel them the whole way through, your emotions won't take you out. The thoughts in your brain won't take you out because you're resilient. You're focused. You're dedicated. You're determined. You are a warrior of light. Allow yourself to feel that now. Allow yourself to receive it. And every word I say, every time I do a podcast, I'm like, dang, I'm speaking right to myself. So I will receive it as well. I'm sending you so much love. Make sure that you subscribe here on YouTube. And if you want to send me a message, head over to Instagram, send me a message, and just let me know what's going on for you. I'm literally happy to hold space for anything that's going on for you. You don't need to feel like you need to be positive. You can bring it all real and raw, and we can talk about it. So with that, I'm sending you love. Give yourself a big hug. You're still here. You're still doing it. You're still showing up. And I'll talk to you next week. Bye for now.